Welcome, to the channel. Today I'm about to check out Death Battle. We got Magneto versus Tetsuo or whatever. My prediction from the last video was Magneto is gonna body this man. Alright? I know Magneto, I'm not sure who Tetsu is. So, like I said, I stick with the gang. So with that said, let's hop into it.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by HelloFresh and Bespoke Post.
My fault.
Master of Magnetism.
Tetsuo Shima, Akira's telekinetic terror of Neo-Tokyo.
These two
No
maestros
clue,
of
man.
kinesis have ignited revolution not just in their worlds, but also the very mediums they exist within.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win
A death battle. If Magneto don't
in the
body
short
this dude,
duration of modern civilization. Likely no conflict tested humanity more than the Second World War. In the primary Marvel 616 universe, this fact is no different, especially to the Eisenhart family and their only son.
You may know him as Magnus, Eric, or Max, but if you ask him, he'd say his true name is Magneto.
Magneto.
As a Jewish child in Nazi Germany, Magneto's early life was, well, extremely traumatic.
Yeah.
Even after eventually escaping certain death with his future wife, misfortune always followed wherever he went.
Thanks to his unexpected mutation called the X gene, the mark of a superhuman. After settling down in Russia with his new family, the KGB quickly found out about this quirk, so they burned his house down with his own daughter inside.
Naturally, he snapped and killed them all. I don't blame him. I'd do that too.
Yeah.
Too bad his wife didn't get it and ditched him, though. But that's when Magneto made a choice. Since humans hurt him his entire life, he'd do the same to them in the name of mutants everywhere.
At first, Magneto turned to the telepathic
I
powerhouse.
mean, shouldn't you be targeting the ones that are hurting mutants instead? Because it's like low-key hypocritical from a standpoint that long story short, attack the bad ones and not the ones that will do you harm, like how the bad humans are attacking you when you did them no harm. So it's like,
Charles Xavier and his fledgling team of heroes. But his new friend wasn't thrilled with the idea of, subjugating the human race.
Yeah.
So, Magneto formed his own team of mutants, the Brotherhood.
Magneto can telekinetically move, bend, and reshape
Scarlet
any
Witch,
metal
whatever.
he's aware of. Bullets, vehicles, buildings, you name it. Even himself when he manipulates his personal magnetic field for flight and energy barriers.
Magnetic kinesis is far more versatile than it would appear at first glance. The blood in your body has iron in it.
Okay. Magneto typically keeps his barriers in place at all times during combat, even while using his powers for other things. Okay, let me write that down. Shield.
The air has traces of lead and mercury. Whole mountains are lined with metallic ore.
Hey, yo, hold
the
up.
Earth versatile than it would appear at first glance. The blood in your body has iron in it. The air has traces of lead and mercury. Whole mountains are lined with metallic ore. The Earth itself is surrounded by a literal magnetic field.
Ooh.
So many toys for Maggie to play with. He can detect magnetic fields at such a huge range, he can even pinpoint Earth's magnetic rays while stranded on a planet in another galaxy. And guess what? He was able to use those rays to pull himself back to Earth in a single day.
His range is
That's
even
quick.
more remarkable than that. Did you know that in 1820, physicist Hans Christian Ørsted discovered that electric currents, like those of electrons and protons and atoms, produce their own magnetic fields? Magneto can fine-tune his control to affect these very subatomic particles. Dummy here will illustrate such a particle, with positively charged protons and negative electrons.
My life is as meaningless as an atom is small.
So what you're saying
Sad.
is Magneto could, yank one of those out.
Correct, potentially changing an atom's entire chemical makeup. However, neutrons do not have a charge, and without the ability to adjust those to accommodate the change in atomic mass, the atom would become unstable and do that.
So my guy can not low-key restructure, but low-key mess with atoms on that molecular level. I'm writing that down.
Magneto's violent protest against humankind clashed with Xavier's peaceful reconciliation, not unlike the ideologies taught by Malcolm X and Dr. King, by whom Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were inspired. Magneto would spend most of his career pushing Xavier away to prove his philosophies superior, which meant doing battle with Xavier's school of thought, quite literally.
And Baldy's mind powers are no joke, but thanks to Magneto's psionic repelling helmet, Professor X couldn't touch him. Magneto's
True, I heard about that.
Cyclops' earth-splitting lasers absorbed the power of the sun to battle Iron Man.
So Loki, inspired by Dr. Octopus and all that, but whatever, pulled the world back, punched Iron Man with the force of a sun. With the force, I'm gonna write that down. Overpowered Hercules and Thor's hammer. Ripped apart Wolverine's adamantium skeleton, survived a miniaturized neutron star bullet, resisted mental attacks from Professor X and Emma Frost, defeated X-Men, Avengers, and Red Skull. Oh, and Apocalypse. What shit.
The adamantium skeleton out of Wolverine's body, and even taken on Hercules himself. You know, the Greek legend, Zero to Hero, the guy who held up the skies of
Did he
Olympus
win, though?
Atlas? That Hercules.
Seems sensible. Magneto once used the Earth's magnetic field to overwhelm the Phoenix Force, which can effortlessly destroy planets, let alone
Whoa. While the Phoenix Force's full power is far greater than just planet level, she had been weakened prior to Magneto defeating her and is beyond him at her full strength, okay?
far more.
Hell, if he really wanted to, Magneto could totally just fling the Earth off its axis.
It's entirely possible he may have eventually resorted to just that. Over time, it became clear Magneto's war was doing far more harm than good for his fellow mutants, however well-intentioned he may have been at first.
Luckily, he later realized he was going a bit overboard and began reevaluating his perspective.
That's
for you,
good.
Mags. It's really tough to recognize when you're the baddie.
It took time and patience not just from Magneto, but also from his peers. Yet eventually, his path was completely changed. He even became a leader for Xavier's X-Men.
But don't let his new goody two-shoes ways fool you. Whenever there's a threat to mutants, you can bet Magneto will be there to annihilate it. Forever. By any means necessary.
Now let's check out this
This episode of
Tetsuo
Death Battle is
character.
sponsored by HelloFresh.
I'm sure it is.
You get
#1 meal kits.
Mm-hmm.
Summer. Plus HelloFresh.
Perfect.
back in your pocket.
HelloFresh is
100%.
16 for up to 16
Yummy.
free Fresh, America's
Ooh.
#1.
Third World War.
Welcome to 2030.
Over
2030,
30 years ago,
what?
a new type of bomb was set off over Tokyo, and 9 hours later began the Third World War.
Welcome to 2030, or 2019 if you're watching the anime. The buildings are taller, the motorcycles are cooler, and the future is brighter. Oh, wait, not really. If you find yourself in the Capsule Gang, you'll meet Shotaro Kaneda, who's like your textbook anime Chad. Gets the ladies, beats the baddies, and cops the sweetest rigs. Man, I need to get me one of those.
And then there's the little brother of the group, Kaneda's best friend, Tetsuo Shima. He's, well,
The exact opposite. A total wimp. As a kid, Tetsuo in his college thesis forehead got bullied for being the new kid at the orphanage. That's until Big Bro Kaneda came to the rescue.
eventually the two went to vocational school together and formed the Capsules. But Tetsuo was never satisfied with Kaneda being the leader of the pack. Tetsuo desired more than anything to be top dog.
Okay.
Oh, I can just see that monkey's paw curling in my mind. Or that kid walking down the street. Shit, Tetsuo, watch out, you're gonna... That definitely should have killed him.
It
But
did.
since it didn't,
Okay,
Tetsuo
I
earned himself a ticket to military
Plot.
confinement. Turns out they had an under-the-table program for developing child superweapons.
In the same program that backfired and jump-started the war, Tetsuo became Japan's Esper number 41.
He may not have been a natural with bikes, baddies, or babes, but this telekinesis stuff hit different. He walked out of that hospital ward effortlessly flying, reading minds, and blending people into strawberry jelly.
Nasty.
He spoke out what he wanted. Power.
Hey, you're not reading minds because my dude Magneto got that protection on him, man.
Along with the hunger for more of it.
A hunger that used to only be satiated with drugs. And not just any gateway drug. Pills so potent that a single gram of the stuff could kill you.
So, pretty bad. Kinda reminds me of college days, huh? Snow Wizard.
Tetsuo's main
Ha,
ability is
no
his
wizard.
constantly increasing psionic energy,
Nice.
growing more and more powerful over time. This is due to Tetsuo's link to, quote, the memories of the universe, end quote. It's weird.
Either way, Tetsuo leveled up from lame gangbuster.
Hold up. Espers take advantage of the flow of universal energy created by the Big Bang. Its destructive nature is in part due to promoting humanity's evolution.
A certified badass. This guy is a walking natural
That's strong.
disaster. His telekinesis can shake the planet, easily cause earthquakes over a dozen miles below the surface. He can summon psychic barriers for defense and crush foes with friggin' gravity wells. He can dart around as a literal bolt of lightning, or even teleport in an instant.
Tetsuo's telekinesis can be so precise he can target and obliterate specific parts of the body. He can heal severe wounds quickly, but even after losing a whole limb, he can craft a new one using whatever nearby materials he wants.
That's where you mess up, because you're gonna use metal for its strength. Maybe earth, but not as strong. And then boom, GG's.
Top Dog Canada didn't matter anymore. Who needed his approval? Tetsuo tasted that good shit and he was hooked. And when he found out another Esper named Akira could deal him even more power, he rampaged through Tokyo to find him.
And this is where versions of the story differ.
Spoilers ahoy!
You may be familiar with the 1988 animation, where Akira had been dissected for research. However, in the original manga, Akira is not only alive, but even more powerful.
Once that little runt nuked Tokyo, Tetsuo would erect the Great Tokyo Empire with Akira and himself as its leaders. But he ended up just abusing the position for endless sex and inflating his ego.
With Kanada's rebellion at his
That's
front door,
down bad,
Tetsuo
bro.
took a turn for the worse. He had to fight.
Tetsuo's defeated other powerful Espers.
Hold up, caused 8.5 magnitude earthquake, obliterated Tetsuo, cratered the moon, can destroy Earth 100 times over, dodge light speed lasers, leap to the moon faster than sight, survived multiple nuclear laser blasts, defeated K, Lady Miyako, and U.S. Navy. This dude is fast, okay?
Dodged light speed lasers and jumped to
But
the moon
that guy
faster than anyone
is
could
super
blink,
strong as
and then
well,
punched
so...
a big old hole in it. And if you ask, Boomerstick, wouldn't that mess up gravity on Earth? You would be right, because it totally did. Screwed the planet, I guess. Stupid moon.
Which brings us to Tetsuo's folly. His abuse of his powers spiraled until he lost control. Unfortunately for Kanada's rebellion, this did not make Tetsuo an easier enemy to confront. Exactly opposite, in fact, as Tetsuo painfully mutated into an unstoppable behemoth.
Yep, that's not totally disturbing at all.
I'm happy to say the manga's version is even more disturbing.
I mean, I know babies can be monsters, but that's a whole nother level.
It is pain and
Nah, that's
I
nasty,
can relate.
bro.
Another Esper described Tetsuo's struggle as ego death, which has multiple definitions, but in this case is likely symbolic of the version attributed to drug use.
Yeah, it's described as a shedding of one's own identity, like how LSD can emulate a wild out-of-body experience, and you come back with a new perspective. Though this
Cut,
is
Jerry.
maybe a little more extreme. In fact, you could say Tetsuo was shedding his human body to play with the powers of a god.
I wish I could shed out of my body. But in this case, Tetsuo going full out-of-body meant becoming a mound of raw, ever-expanding energy.
Oh,
Which
gosh.
almost nuked Tokyo all over again. And those explosions are not normal. I would know.
Top scientists in both the manga and animated versions describe these explosions as births of a new universe.
Given its properties of nuclear fusion and proton collapse, Tetsuo's mutated form was likely creating a Big Bang.
You know, the thing that started our whole universe?
Right, in the manga, it instead ended the Espers and their abilities once and for all. A testament that humankind is unsuited to wield the powers of the divine.
Though the anime's even more trippy. Thanks to Akira and his buddies, Tetsuo got so high on ego death, he ascended time-space to become god of a new universe. Kinda worth it, right?
Tetsuo obtaining omniscience is not canon to the original manga and cannot be applied to an arbitrary level of power. I mean, if Magneto bodies him before he gets the chance to take himself out and with him as well, it's GG's.
And yet, Kanada kept his empire up in his honor, now as the Great Akira Empire. Ironically, in death, Tetsuo finally received the attention he so desperately craved.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by Bespoke
Hey man,
Foods.
I'm already
You're super-
locking it in. Magneto, yeah. Not a lot of those feats really, shook me. But yeah, I'm still sticking with Magneto as of now
Pick
because
the right box of
he is
awesome
that
for you.
he is
Small
that
upper
guy
brand.
right now.
Boxofawesome.com, code Death Battle for 20% up. Time for a
Death battle. Yeah, let's go.
Even in Japan, they fail to recognize our superiority.
Nice.
Wrong country, Grandpa. You're in Akira turf now. You're dead meat.
Okay.
Impudent child!
The hell are you calling child?
You.
The rules around here.
Okay. Hey, by the way.
My time.
He got the experience. He know what he's doing. I dare you. Do it.
For the master of magnetism.
Use metal, I dare you. Oh, you messed up.
Kill you.
Gee.
Your history, scumbag.
He's still gonna use the arm, right? Yeah, he got the speed. I wrote that.
I believe I've had enough tantrums to last a lifetime.
Listen, welcome. I'll handle this on my own. Not weak. Die. Hurts. Help me.
Poor child.
You're alive!
You are welcome.
Hey! Ha! Hey, yo, hold on. In fact, I'm gonna let them talk real quick. Let me write down in my book as a W real quick. That's a W, man.
Tetsuo's esoteric telekinesis and other bizarre abilities certainly gave Magneto
Oh, my fault. Yep. Oh, wait, he was fast. Alright. Magneto stronger, faster, tougher. Nasty. Magnekisis. Telekinesis. Magnekinesis. Counter Tetsuo's offense. Magnetic senses counter Tetsuo's mobility. But he had inferior healing properties, and Tetsuo could eventually grow more powerful. Yeah. Tetsuo could kill Magneto without his shield. Telekinesis had a broader range of effect, yep. Though his application was less versatile. over exertion risked bodily harm, far less combat and tactical experience.
Of
Yes,
magnetism
said
had
that.
greater control over his foe.
The numbers don't lie. Tetsuo cratering the moon was insane, but Magneto punched Iron Man
With the force of the sun.
And while Tetsuo jumped all the way to the moon, Magneto could move across galaxies.
Against Tetsuo in his human form, Magneto obviously held a sizable advantage.
Okay, yeah, without his barriers, Tetsuo was easily powerful enough to kill Magneto. However, those barriers can withstand attacks from Thor and Hercules, who are far stronger than Tetsuo. Yep.
Power and speed.
But stats aren't all that matters. With his precise telekinesis, Tetsuo could just target Magneto's organs. GG, right?
Yes, but Magneto had similar skills. There are very few substances on Earth that lack any metallic or magnetic component. And Magneto is very creative with his powers.
Which he could use to predict Tetsuo's teleportation and even shut down his telekinesis. And his scraps with Xavier prove he could handle Tetsuo's messing with his head.
Ooh, given that Tetsuo was put out of commission after attempting to read Akira's mind, it's likely that with Magneto's greater array of abilities, the same would happen here.
Biggest challenge for Magneto was when Tetsuo's gross mutated power came into play.
Especially given how the detonations from this form were compared to that of a Big Bang. Although the authenticity of that observation is questionable. In truth, the Big Bang was a sudden expansion of matter on a universal scale, whereas Tetsuo's explosions are more akin to nuclear blasts, clearly intentional given the post-war symbolism of the Akira story.
The whole creating an alternate universe bit wasn't even part of the original material, so we can't exactly call it canon.
But let's just say the comparison wasn't superfluous. Let's say Tetsuo did in fact cause a Big Bang capable of creating or destroying an entire universe,
Okay.
alternate or otherwise.
Turns out Magneto had the tools to stop that too. Helmet Head could overpower Hercules, who was strong enough to hold up the skies of Olympus, which is literally heaven and an alternate universe.
This doesn't necessarily mean Magneto could easily destroy a universe with a snap of his fingers, but it does prove he can match a similar level of power. And context is everything. Tetsuo's Big Bang eruption specifically exhibited proton collapse, meaning its atomic structure was primarily an unstable mess of neutrons and electrons. And Magneto has detected and commanded unstable electrons before. This means Magneto had every means available to take control over this Big Bang.
Damn, and I thought he could just move some metal around. It's like the question posed by some of the greatest prophets of our time. Fucking magnets. How do they even work?
Magneto's astonishing power
Nice.
and intelligent control over
Alright,
all
get your
things
puns out the way,
magnetism
man.
triumphed in the end.
Tetsuo pushed his luck, but didn't have the metal to pull off the win.
The winner is Magneto.
W's, man.
Thank you
That's
for watching this episode. If you'd like to directly
Not a
support
good
the
look.
Death Battle team, click that join button and consider becoming a
Okay,
member.
let's see
We'd
who's
really
next.
appreciate it. Hope you like the next one.
Hercules versus San Wukong. We got Chinese, right? Yeah, Chinese legend versus Hercules is Greek, right? Versus a Greek legend. Hey man, off rip, I'ma even say right now, prediction. I'm putting down my prediction who's gonna win. I can see it being Hercules because man, bro, I see a lot of feeds. They'll pull ish from probably DC, Marvel, or if not that, they'll just dive deep into its own origins. You remember there's Zeus, man, there's other people, bro. I feel like Chinese legends are made of peace and like love and all of that. They may be strong, but I don't think they're like super strong. But then again, Goku was based off this character, but then again, I don't really think his power scalings were based off him in such a manner or in such a way. So right now, my prediction is, in fact, from what I know from both these characters, I'm saying Hercules is gonna win. But who I wanna win, and I'm saying like marking it down like who I wanna win, who I'm sticking with, who I'm picking, it's Sun Wukong, bro. Trust. Yeah, I already put it down. It's Sun Wukong versus Hercules, and yeah. But if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know which video to check out, and I'm gonna do so. But with that said, I will see you guys later.